everyone, welcome to another episode of Ask Deidre, where I answer questions that you guys have about your English language skills. Today I'll be answering the question, my English is not improving. What should I do? Alright, if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe and to give this video a thumbs up. Now, into the answer. So, if your English is not improving, there are two main things I would recommend that you do. The first thing is to practice. If you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I always tell my students, practice, practice, practice. Nothing beats practice. So when you're practicing, there are different things you can do, right? So the first thing is that you need to have a specific time per day where you practice English. Now you study grammar, but you practice English. So you practice speaking, you practice writing, practice listening, practice reading. So some students will say that I can read and I can write, but I have problems speaking. Well, the only way to get better at speaking is to practice speaking. So if you set out an hour per day or 30 minutes per day to practice English, then you should see improvements. Now, practicing is not just taking up a book and reading or sitting down to watch a movie. Your brain has to be engaged. So 2 videos ago, I told you how to read actively. Underline the words, find meanings, etc., etc. It's the same thing for when you're watching a movie or when you're singing along to songs. You should be listening to the movie to try to pronounce in the same way that the characters are pronouncing words, trying to understand the different phrasal verbs and matching them back to your language, trying to understand intonation, trying to understand, wow, this person used the present perfect here, they use the future tense here, they use the present continuous here. If you are practicing listening, you have to listen actively, and it's the same for every skill. Also, don't study in a vacuum. So if you are studying grammar, after you've finished studying, you should be practicing that grammar. So if today you studied the present tenses, then you should be practicing to use those tenses in different conversations. You don't need a partner to be practicing. You can sit and think of conversations by yourself and think of how both persons in the conversation would respond to each other. So study, but don't study in a vacuum. Apply what you have studied to real everyday life situations. So that's what I have to say about practicing. The second thing I will tell you to do is to set goals, right? So if you are practicing, how do you measure yourself, right? So you can say, for this week, I will read 3 novels in English. What does reading 3 novels entail? It means that at the end of these 3 novels, I should have learned at least 10 new words and how to use these words. I should have been able to understand the different phrasal verbs. So reading is not just going through the words, but understanding what each paragraph, each sentence is saying. Another goal could be, in 3 months' time, I should be able to have a conversation about fruits. Or I should be able to have a conversation about economics, right? In that way, you can study with a goal in mind. For those of you who are taking an exam, I would say a goal for you could be that before I take the exam, I should be able to get 80% on a mock exam, right? That could be a goal for you. So setting goals helps you to work towards something. That way you're not just practicing and not seeing a reward for yourself. Because the reality is that everyone loves rewards. Well, that's it for today. I hope these tips will help you to see an improvement in your English. Now, in tomorrow's video, I will be sharing 10 commonly mispronounced English words. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.